people to show off their businesses, talk to investors and possible future partners, and even clients, either over Zoom or in person. What's in it for you? One, if you're an entrepreneur, you're going to learn what else is out there, what problems people are running into, and also what investors and clients are looking for in new products. If you're a person that wants to invest, you're going to see what's happening out there and what type of companies are looking for partnerships or things that they can be invested in or actually receive money for. The BullRing trains you up a week ahead of time to walk through your 5-minute pitch. You get to do that with the other pitchers. You get to see what they're doing right, what they're doing wrong. Then on the day, you get your 5-minute pitch to sometimes 75 to 100 different people that will either know more about your company as a client, as a potential partner, or even a potential investor. Our pitchers have had the opportunity to partner up with Microsoft, Amazon, some of the big gaming names, and even some potential European big boys. If you're just somebody from the general public and you want to know what's happening here in Birmingham and the wider Midlands, then you'd come along to see what's happening for businesses that are startup or scale up.
All right. Thank you very much, Lauren, for running that for us. And welcome to the BullRing in May 12th. So hopefully everybody's having a good time. We're here to see 3 great pitches, hear from 3 amazing bulls. And I'm BD Dalton, the founder of the BullRing. And I'm here with my team, Mike and Lauren, who make things happen in the background so that you can have a great show and we can showcase these amazing entrepreneurs. Lauren, if you could put the slides up, then we'll run through them. So here we go. It's BullRing Showcase for today. I've walked you through that. So the bulls here today are here to showcase and make the pitchers look amazing. They're already great. This makes them look amazing. This isn't the chance like we do in the Dragon's Den where we tear them down and can't believe that and you didn't know this and you did. This is a showcase to take them forward, to show off what they actually are doing right, what they have on there. So this is we actually have a slate of over 30 plus bulls from all over the place, and you'll get to meet some of them today. So if we move on to the next one, we have all sorts of pitches that have been through here. We have food, we have tech, we have entertainment, movies, games, all sorts of stuff. And today we're going to have a good wide array also. We have some fashion, we have some technical and engineering, and we have some beauty and cosmetics. So it should be kind of fun. And guess what? The COVID was very, very difficult for a lot of people, but for the BullRing, it made things more amazing. Zoom has made it so we've actually been able to go all over the globe for our bulls, for our pitchers, for our attendees. And the awesome thing is that you get to see people from all over the world. Today, most people are in the UK, but not from the UK, all of them. But this is the opportunity for you to see people from all over the world and for us to showcase them here in the BullRing. Next slide, please. How does it work? I make sure that things stay together. So Lauren, if you take us to the next slide, I'm going to lead you through this. And it's my job to make sure that we stay on time. Time pitches, 5 minutes. The pitches don't get to go any longer than that. We get bulls feedback. And the thing that we added on between the last one, which actually worked out really well, is that when one of the bulls gives some feedback, the pitcher gets 1 minute to respond. If there's no response necessary because it was just comments from the bull, then we can just move on. But if there's an answer to the question, or if there is a question, you get a minute to respond. And then not only do we get the bulls feedback, all 3 bulls for all 3 pitches, but we also get your feedback as an audience member to say whether you understood what the pitch was, if you liked it, and if you thought that they were investable. Those are great things. So let's move on to the next slide. Let's take a poll. So let's test this out. So Lauren, if you could throw the poll up for us.
It's up.
Thank you very much. So is this your first time attending the BullRing? How many bulls have taken part? And what's the company, or which is the company behind the BullRing? So if you'd click, click, click and submit, we'll see if you've got your polling fingers working.
So we're on half people responding at the moment.
Oh, they're getting faster. Let me tell you. By the end of this, we'll be in under 30 seconds. In the beginning, we're usually about 45 seconds with people trying to figure out how to touch their phone in different ways.
We got 60%.
Okay, let's close it. Let everybody else will be getting good at this. So there it is. So is this your first time in the bull ring? We got a 50-50 here almost. That's pretty good. Welcome to the bull ring, you novices. It'll be fun. You'll enjoy it, and you'll get to see some great companies. The answer is 30 plus, so that was good there. And then the bottom one, you can see it there, is Amazon. You have Jeff Bezos wanted to license it, but I told him not this time. So yes, it is the Rockfine Group. So you're getting good at these polls. So let's move on to the next slide, please.
Yep.
So our bulls are here to showcase, and you're going to get to meet some great bulls. So our first bull that we'll have up here is Paul Heaven. Paul Heaven's going to introduce himself. We call him the finance guru. He's corporate finance background, been around the block, fairly young. I mean, he's only 43. Today, I think 44 is his next birthday. But Paul's been around, seen some things. So Paul, could you tell us what you're looking for when you look at the pitches?
Hi everyone. Yeah, I'm a bit of a grizzled old bull. Yeah, that's me. Not my first bull ring. So I come here as the kind of corporate finance representative. I work with owner managers who are looking to buy, sell, or raise finance for their business. Clearly, in the context of today's bull ring event, it will be looking at it from a external equity investors perspective and examining each of the cases to give some insights as to what investors might be looking for and what things might be sharpened up on the proposals.
Perfect. Thank you very much. And our next bull, and we call her Startup Focus. She's got a great company called My Nexus that helps entrepreneurs figure out something's really cool called an ESI. But I'll hand over to you, Gaynor, to tell us why we call you Startup Focused and what you're looking for as a bull.
Oh, lovely. Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm co-founder of My Nexus ESI, a business simulation that measures skills and capabilities of entrepreneurs. The tool can be used for your own personal development, building the right team, and even investability. I'm an entrepreneur at heart, and I absolutely love helping other entrepreneurs follow their dreams and get plans off the ground. So I'm also an early stage investor. I dabble a little bit, but I look for passion and vision, and the drive and determination is key in startups. So yeah, I've been around the block a few times as well.
That's really good. Thank you very much, Gaynor, and welcome back. And then welcome back again, Alan Clayton. Put you on international growth because you're actually calling in internationally. So from Zoom. So welcome, Alan. Could you tell us what you're looking for in your background here as a bull?
Yeah, hi everybody. Hi BD. Yeah, I'm internationally for an hour from you in Cork in Ireland. Cork is the spiritual home of a large investor called SOSV that probably some of you have never heard of. SOSV has about $1.4 billion of assets under management, and we essentially invest pre-seed in startups of all sorts from more than 76 different countries at this stage over the years. My role is to build the human capital in these businesses, the teams, as it were. What we look for is a good team, and a team that has clearly identified a problem that a significant number of people, like a few million, have, and they've come up with a clear, relatively simple, easy to execute solution. And we invest in these teams through our various kind of accelerator programs in the US, China, Europe, usually investing a package of between $250,000 and $500,000 to get things going. And I would love to find teams in Birmingham that we can support in that way.
Awesome. Thank you very much and welcome back. We haven't had you on for a couple of months, so it's good to have you back. Lauren, next slide, please. Before we bring this in, we put all of our pitches through a rigorous testing phase called Pitch Perfect Practice, because people say that they pitched before. I've done 300 pitches, I've done 400 pitches, but the bull ring's different. Mike, could you just walk us through what PPP does and what these pitchers have gone through and been harassed by us? Over to you, sir.
Certainly can. Okay, so the simple part of Pitch Perfect Practice is designing a pitch that lasts just 5 minutes is not normal, because more often than not, people can talk for days, if not weeks, about their beautiful invention, their creation, their baby, their blood, sweat, and tears. But then you've got to put it into 5 minutes, and you've got to put it in a framework that's engaging, that shares stories, that gets people excited, doesn't drown you in lots and lots of graphs and everything else that switches people off, but engages enough to get people to want to take interest. That's interesting. I know somebody you should be talking to. That's interesting. Let's have a conversation. People are pitching here. They're talking to a lens the size of your fingernail, so with zero interaction, everything else. So it's a tough ask, which is why we have to practice it, which is why all the guys pitching today have been rehearsing. They've been going through the motions, making sure that they're ready for this, because this can actually change the way their business works, be that through the investment, through non-exec support, smart money, new resources, or even premises. Everything is up for grabs. And as a result of this, the question is, or the response is, that's interesting, tell me more.
Perfect. Tell me more, Mike. That was great. So we're going to bring on our first pitcher. So here's how it works. So we start off, we let Mohammed, who's going to come on from Fall. So Mohammed, if you could come on the screen, so Lauren will bring you up. I can hear you speaking. And
Can
so
you hear me?
I can hear you. Now, if you could share your screen.
Yeah. Can you see my screen?
I can see your screen. So Mohammed
Brilliant.
from Fall, welcome to the BullRing. Your 5 minutes starts now.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mohammed, and I'm the CEO and co-founder at Fall. I'm here today to introduce to you a solution that will transform how upcoming generations consume fashion. Now, the first thing we need to know about the fashion industry, well, obviously, it's one of the largest industries. But more importantly, it's one of the most fragmented industries in the world. What this means is we have thousands of brands coming out every year, yet the top 20% of brands account for 97% of the revenue earned. Now, when you have an industry that's dominated by major brands, certain problems arise. But instead of boring you with the details and the numbers, I'd like to share with you a quick story about a 20-year-old designer from Manchester. So Tayo owns a brand called Famously Famous. He has also been a Fall intern now for the last 6 months. Tayo is in a very unique position where he lives with 4 other designers who also happen to be brand owners. This has enabled them to collaborate on multiple projects and help each other out in various ways. Now, because of this relationship, he was inspired to design the following t-shirt. Now, as you can see around the image, it says, "We rise by lifting each other," an item of clothing with a strong message behind it. Now, despite his limited network, this t-shirt was sold out within hours. This is the power that independent designers bring to fashion. They're part of the culture, people feel a connection to their story, and are personally invested in the products they make. Now, as I said, Tayo is a creative, yet as a creative, he finds his time and talents being wasted worrying about websites, marketing, sales, and everything else that comes with it. And as I mentioned previously, Tayo is not alone in this. There are there are thousands of brands that launch every single year that are exactly in the same position he's in. And now this is where Fall comes in. Fall recognizes an opportunity to become a platform that is made to offer exclusive access to independent brands and designers. But it goes beyond being yet another fashion tech platform. It is our belief that by facilitating access to independent brands and designers, we will empower future generations to cultivate a unique individual fashion identity. That is our mission here at Fall. Now, our platform, there are 3 features that set Fall apart from all other fashion e-commerce platforms. The first being that we're a video-powered platform. Fall is being built on the premise that the future of shopping will be social. The social commerce business model has been growing worldwide and is estimated to reach over $3 trillion by 2028. Our live shopping feature allows creators to monetize their content while hosting live streams. Our final feature is called Spaces. This is our community feature. This enables fashion enthusiasts, designers, and brand owners to have in-depth discussions, ask questions, and post product reviews. Now, our revenue model will be implemented in 3 stages. For the first year, we'll be focusing on having a standard commission-based model. By Q3 of 23, we'll begin implementing the freemium model, and by Q3 24, we will test our brand consultation service. Now, once the foundation of the platform is built, our support for brands will be more inclusive and go beyond just offering a platform. We want to cover all the areas that brands need help in, from content creation to sourcing manufacturers. Building these databases will allow us to further monetize our network and help brands and designers at every level of their development. In regards to traction, a month ago, we put out a waiting list for fall, and we got 24 brands, 200 designers, and 750 fashion consumers waiting for our release. In addition, we're very lucky to have A-Force London as a partner, and they're very gracious to invite us to join them at the Northern Fashion Week, where we'll be presenting fall to several industry professionals. Today, we're asking for £300,000. This will enable us to release and test a beta version, hire key personnel, and acquire brands and customers. With this money, we expect to get 100 brands and 1,000 users onboarded on our platform, which will be released in December of this year. We're also incentivizing our early investors by offering the first 150,000 to be completely SEIS eligible and the remainder of the sum to be EIS eligible. Our team primarily consists of young, passionate entrepreneurs, but we're also fortunate to have two former Farfetch executives, Bruno and Amandio here, as part of our core team. Both Bruno and Amandio witnessed firsthand what it takes for a platform to go from making a few $1 million a year to becoming a multi-billion fashion giant. And our advisors are industry experts with decades of experience. Fall is young, it's interactive, it's inclusive. And in an industry that's often criticized for its lack of transparency, Fall stands strong on values and a belief that the future of fashion lies within the hands of independent brands and designers. Thank you very much.
Cool. 5'11", not bad. Not bad.
Sorry.
I listened. No, it's okay. You did it. You were passionate about it. You had some fun, but that is very, very good. So we'll start off with Gaynor first. So Gaynor, if you could come on and give us some feedback. And once again, Gaynor will give her feedback. And if there's a question that Gaynor has, you get a minute to kind of respond to that. If we need to go further and other people want to know it out in the audience, then what we'll do is we'll just kind of encapsulate that and send it out in an email afterwards. But so over to you, Gaynor.
Oh, lovely. Thank you, Mohammed. Excellent presentation, nice and clear. Got the message across really well. Yeah, love the idea. You talk about there's other platforms out there and you're going to give an innovative approach to it. So be very interested to find out more about that. I suppose for me, you know, I know how hard it is to aggregate independence from my own experience and the challenges that you have with maintaining, you know, the amount of brands and making sure that the service and deliverables, because everybody wants everything at a high standard these days. So I suppose that's a challenge for you guys to work out. Just a question around the commissions. You know, you're setting 10% there. Feels a bit low to me, but that would be interesting to see how you're benchmarking that. And obviously your ask on raising money. You haven't built this MVP as yet. Is this to build the MVP, this money, or have you got, because you've said a beta, but have you got alpha ready yet?
Yeah, so sorry, am I supposed to answer now? Or?
Yeah, you can answer.
Sorry, I was getting into the techie bit then. Sorry, I forgot. I thought we was in the room on our own then, because you know I can't help myself with anything like this. So yeah,
it's okay. So you get a minute, and you can answer whichever question you want to answer.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, we do have an MVP, but this money is for a beta version, so it's a bit more advanced. Our MVP was an interactive UI that we were testing with designers. It did not prove revenue though. It did not prove the revenue model. But now we're kind of sorting that out by setting an e-commerce website until we can, raise the money to verify the revenue model.
Okay, I think it just needs to be a bit clearer in the deck that you actually have built something, but this is the next step for you. I think that will go down there. But yeah, I mean, obviously I'd like to find out more. Got a lot of synergy with some of the other things I'm involved in. But yeah, great presentation. And I think you're right, you know, the future is in independence, and I'm all for that as well.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Gaynor. Okay, over to you, Paul. And then Alan, obviously, coming up after that.
Hi, Mohammed. Yeah, I thought it was an excellent presentation. Again, I thought it was clear and the proposition is a good one. I understand the desire and the benefit of bringing independence on. And a couple of things. I mean, I certainly wouldn't put a minimum ticket size of 10K on the ask. I think that's just being a hostage to fortune. I think the focus, as I see it, on the development of the business plan is on the supply side, which is how you're going to bring fashion designers on board. And I think the proposition itself, even as a platform, as you described it, probably has a greater challenge, which is reaching out to the consumers that you're going to need to bring onto the platform to make that 10% commission something that's worth having, and B, to drive the kind of promise, if you like, to the fashion designers that this is a quid pro quo. If they come on the platform, they'll find consumers. So you're at that awkward stage where there's a kind of chicken and an egg here, in that you need content to, to push out to consumers, whereas there's no point in pushing out to consumers till you've got the content. But notwithstanding that, I think the pitch itself needs a bit more focus on the consumer side.
Perfect. I don't think there's a question there, so I think we'll go on to Alan, unless there's anything you wanted to comment on there, but I don't think there was a question. So cool. Okay,
no,
let's move on to Alan.
Yeah, thanks, Mohammed. I mean, I love the shocking bright color graphics to kick off with, and I thought what you explained at the very beginning was a simple, clear proposition. So you guys are going to be essentially the business part of a whole list of creative designers. So I get that. You mentioned, like, the story at the beginning was really kind of interesting, and I guess if you're going to set up a marketplace, you're going to face all the usual challenges of, if you don't have 1 million customers on day one, the designers will get fed up, and if you don't have 1 million designers, the customers will get fed up. So I think I was curious in the pitch to maybe understand a bit more about how you think you're going to actually get those first like 5,000 customers on your site. And people usually say, well, we're going to do social media and all that. In this day and age, if there's something special or unique or that's going to help you do that, it'd be good to hear about it. And however that first person sold out of their first t-shirts instantly, I guess you could do worse than learn from that and actually start from small and grow stage by stage, which brings me to the £300,000 ask. So I don't know how much money has been invested so far, but I mean, I know, I would expect quite a lot could be built for £100,000. So I don't know whether you might try and ask for that money in smaller stages as you go along. The other thing that was somewhat missing, I thought that there was no financial forecast. Like for you didn't tell me how much you expected to generate in year 1 or 2 in terms of sales. Actually, I thought the piece of information you showed about the market, it's 2016. That's 6 years ago. Don't use 6-year-old data in a presentation, probably. And final thing, just like something about the competition, like you say, to my naive way of thinking, I mean, I have a daughter that spends a fortune on fashion and a young son. I don't, it's a fashion shop online. So tell me more about how you win. You said yourself, I think, winner takes all. It's that kind of industry. So how are you going to be the winner, and who are the others that are going to lose, and how are you going to beat them? Something else about competition, I think, is just my point.
Cool. So if you want to address, there's quite a few little questions there. So just if you want to hit one of them, that would be good. One that you feel is most pertinent.
So just the one that the go-to-market, where you asked where you're going to find these, whether it's designers, brands, or even users. So for designers and brands, these partnerships that I mentioned have been very crucial for us. So A-Force actually works directly with universities, and they have access to hundreds of designers, young designers. And I've had the chance to I was actually running fall from the A-Force factory for the last 2 weeks. So they've been very helpful to us. With regards to the consumer side, of course, which is just as important, we're working with fashion societies, so university fashion societies, and we're going to release the beta version in those societies specifically to test out the market there. Okay, so there was
Perfect. No, that's
some,
really good. I think that's really good. And that it shows, and this is why we start off this. So obviously all the questions you'll have answers for. So it's perfect. But after this, everybody that's in the audience and the bulls, there'll be feedback. You'll also be able to track fall. You'll be able to talk to Mohammed. And if there's anything else that you think was pertinent, you can put that out to everybody. So anybody that's interested in investing or working with fall, that's there. So
yeah,
thank you
thank
very
so
much,
much.
Alan, for the feedback. And now you get to see what the crowd thinks. So here we go. If Lauren could put up the poll for investable, non-investable. Here's your first poll for the pictures. I think we'll see it. There it is. So do you know what fall does? So do you know what they actually do? Do you know what they're asking for? And are they investable or not investable? So, and while Lauren's bringing up the other slide, then could you please, while you're doing this, I know you're getting really good at clicking things, if you would go to the LinkedIn website for the BullRing and like it there. So like our BullRing page on LinkedIn, that always helps. So if you're not already following it, we have things that happen on there. You can meet the bulls, you can do that type of stuff. So make sure you click and like the BullRing Club on LinkedIn. That's our ask for this slide. So if we could see the results,
Yeah.
please. There we are. Look at that. We know what you do. Mohammed, you did a great job at describing it. And you understand what the ask is because you were very specific on the 300,000. And then do you think it's investable or not investable? And so the majority, we've got 50-50. 50-50 is not bad. I know 50% of people that don't like Marmite, but they still sell millions of pounds worth of it. So it's okay to have that. So congratulations. That was a great presentation.
Thanks, everyone.
So thank you, Mohammed. Mohammed will be around afterwards and we'll have a little group session. So if you want to ask Mohammed anything afterwards, after all the pitches are done, then we'll be around to answer questions, and so will some of the bulls. So if we now go to the second pitcher, today we have Marco from 3D Viewer Online. So Marco, if you could share your screen.
Yep.
Perfect. We'll be there in a second. So we have it. The beauty of Zoom, sitting all over the world and still sharing screens. Here we go. So 3D Viewer Online. So Marco from 3D Viewer Online, welcome to the BullRing, and your 5 minutes pitching starts now.
Right, so good afternoon, everybody. My name is Marco Pavan. I am the CEO and founder of 3D Viewer Online. 3D Viewer Online provides a very simple way to verify, collaborate, and showcase 3D files. Nowadays, 3D models are used by really any company in any industry sector, and they are quite often more valuable than the objects they represent. I'll make two very easy examples to let you understand. IKEA is the first example. IKEA is creating their own catalogs out of 3D models. So they're doing that rather than building furniture every time they have to shoot a new configuration, because obviously it's way quicker and cheaper to do it that way, just by using realistic rendering of 3D models. And Airbus is another very big example. Airbus is creating a full 3D digital model, also called digital mockup, of the whole aircraft. So they put all the different subsystems together to make sure that they're not too close, they're not clashing, they're not too far. So basically to identify issues. And it is way cheaper to fix issues which are identified at this stage, rather than fixing issues which are identified after the aircraft has been already manufactured. But even though 3D models are so valuable and used today, it is quite difficult to use and share them outside the design community. And the main reason for that is because they are too large for emails, so you cannot send them through emails. They do require specific software to be used, and they're not really usable from mobile devices. You actually need very good hardware to open 3D models. And this is why we created the 3D Viewer. The 3D Viewer is a MVP, which is attracting today over 700 new registered users per month. It is a very simple web platform that runs just on the browser, so no software is required. It supports most of the 3D file formats and devices, including mobile devices, as we can see from the picture. And finally provides all the verification tools which are needed to use and share the 3D models. And this is provided without any learning curve because it's extremely easy and intuitive to use. In terms of traction, today we have over 58,000 registered users with a customer retention rate of over 70, and we handle slightly less than 2 million 3D models uploaded to our servers. But unlike other solutions, which are obviously on the market, our technology is not really focused or confined to a specific industry sector. We actually serve multiple industry sectors. And because of that, we can target around 30 million businesses in UK, Europe, and US. And to give you a quick insight about that, we can see on the right side of the slide a pie chart, which is showing already the different industry sectors which are using the 3D viewer. And just to mention some, we can see education, automotive, electronics, technology, industrial goods, aerospace, health, and so on. In terms of business models, we have a traditional freemium business models where users register and then pay for the premium features. And then we also have B2B sales going to expos and exhibitions. And we're also planning to sell bulk corporate licenses to institutions. The team is composed by myself. I'm CEO and I've done most of the software and business development. I have over 12 years of experience as an entrepreneur and engineer, and I worked for leading companies such as Airbus in the past. My business partner, Marco D'Alio, he's the Chief Marketing Officer. He has extensive experience working in the marketing department, and is also the founder of the digital marketing agency, Wizard Agency. What we're asking today is for £100,000 in a seed round, which we are going to use mostly for product development and customer acquisition. So a big chunk of this seed round will go towards the creation of a team of software developers, and then obviously marketing to push on customer acquisition, and then there are the typical expenses. Why us? Because we have very good traction so far, and we have enormous scale potential. And also we are EIS eligible. So thank you very much for listening. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you very much, Marco. Good presentation, and bang on probably my finger, 5.87. 5 minutes and 0.87 seconds.
All right.
Amazing stuff. So Paul has some experience in similar things. So I'll start off with Paul.
Yeah, thanks, BD. Yeah, when BD says I have some experience in similar stuff, I was involved in a company that was involved in real-time construction simulation models in the construction industry, which I interestingly note isn't one of the sectors you list. And I guess that throws me up the question really, because I get it. The presentation was excellent, was clear and concise. My concern about this, and it's just one question I'll ask, is that most of the CAD providers already offer a effectively free to use viewer for their application. So you know, what you're going to do is go along to a company and say, like, I can help to represent your images, but the CAD application they use may already have a free to use viewer module. So I'm just trying to understand how you're going to pitch this. Where's the value add to the people that are going to be paying for this, which is the business consumer?
Cool. So what makes it different? Why you as an engineer didn't just use AutoCAD or whatever, Autodesk or whatever it was? So why did you create this, Marco? What makes 3D Viewer different than just using Adobe?
So, well, the main difference is that all these softwares which are provided, all these 3D viewers, they need to be installed. They require some specific hardware, which most of the times managers don't have. One of the issues we had with Airbus is that the designer wasn't actually able to send the 3D model to the manager because the manager couldn't actually download the software which was needed for that. And also because they use different software and different 3D models, you would need to download each basically, you will need to download 5-6 different 3D viewers just to be able to handle the different 3D models that are coming from your designing team. So what we do, we make a simplified solution which can allow people to easily share it, but without the complication of download the software, admin rights, and this sort of problems.
Perfect. I think that was good. So I think that does it at least starts you down the answering the question. So thank you very much, Paul. And then we'll hand over to Alan.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Marco. I mean, interestingly, about 250 companies in our portfolio who are all building hardware obviously use platforms like SolidWorks all the time. So in terms of, so I understand the viewing thing. So this, as I understand it, this is for mobile, right? In which case, I'm wondering about these 58,000 people who you've got potentially using it. It's like, be interesting to understand what exactly are they doing with it when they're downloading these files? Because I've got a picture in my mind of them trying to wrestle with it on a mobile screen of some sort, which is small. And these are giant things like aeroplanes. Actually, a next door neighbor of mine works for Dassault Systems, the SolidWorks owners, as a kind of a builder of aeroplanes. So it's fascinating. So yeah, another thing I'm curious about is like, what does it actually cost? So you mentioned the different, freemium models and so on. Like, how much am I as a professional designer going to be expected to pay? I don't think you told me whether it was £10 a week, £100 a day, £50 a file or whatever. Financial forecasts would have been interesting as well. And just some perhaps broader idea about the competition. Because I've got a feeling like there is a niche for this, and the clearer you can identify the individuals, bring some of those individuals maybe to life. Give us an example of a frustrated current user who desperately needs what you've got, and build that into there. £400,000 is also a lot of money. I thought £300,000 is a lot of money for building a software app, but 400,000 is even more. It's a huge amount of money. And so could you not stage it? And being EIS eligible, I wouldn't say that in my pitch, because when I hear that, working internationally, I hear that as oh, well, that's okay. It's EIS, so nobody really cares. People put money into EIS funds to avoid tax, not because they're smart investors. So don't mention the EIS eligibility unless you're talking to somebody specifically who's keen to invest for that reason. So great, thanks.
Cool. Okay, so if you want to answer one or two of those, you can. How about the monthly subscription, and then why don't you give them one of the customers, maybe the Mexican?
Yeah. So first of all, what we do is not just working on mobile. So we build basically technology which is converting a 3D model into a web page. So the web page can be accessed from anywhere: mobile devices, tablets, computer, and so on. In terms of specific use cases, we have a lot of engineers and designers which are sharing the work with the whole team, including manager or engineer from manufacturing or other facilities. They can all see the same model and comment and understand issues in a much quicker way rather than doing that by emails. And also we have in the healthcare sector dentists which are creating 3D scans of teeth and then using our service to share that with other studios for the same reason, to make sure they're fine, they can share, and they all agree. And same for manufacturing sector. In terms of the so what was the other question?
I think that was pretty good. It was, and the price.
Yeah, how much per
yeah,
month?
in terms of the cost, I think, yeah. So we do provide a subscription system. So usually we are around $120 or $300 per month. These are the subscriptions that we offer at the moment. Sorry, per year, not per month.
Yeah. Okay.
A lapsus. But yes, this is the kind of cost that we are using at the moment.
Great. Actually, that's really interesting. Suddenly I'm looking at like teeth and dentists. I can see that almost on a mobile phone. Airplanes is a bit more challenging.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Very cool. Thank you. Okay. Thanks for the question, Alan. And over to you, Gaynor.
Oh, lovely. Well, Alan asked some great questions there as well. So did Paul. So not much from me to add to that, other than you talk about the freemium model. Maybe you want to consider a trial period. So they have it free for a little bit, and then that's goes straight into there. So that could just looks a bit better than just saying it's a freemium model. I think, you know, it's going to get to some sort of revenue from that volume there. I love the multiple sectors. I think that's really cool. That gives you lots and lots of scope for you to target. But I don't think your marketing budget at 14% is going to be enough to really, you know, get that discovery. So you might want to think about that. You know, you can never have enough money for marketing. And obviously the biggest chunk of this is product development, which then makes me think, well, how far along are you to need this amount of money? That's a big chunk of the ask there. So just be careful about that, looking that you're not developed enough to warrant that sort of raise and that money there. It's you know, it's an awkward one to ask, but you know, I like, be interesting. Where's the business going? You know, where do you see it going? I mean, we touch on competition and things like that, but you know, what's the exit strategy for your sort of business? Because if this is sort of niche, you know, is it going to go to a bigger player? You know, that's the sort of question that I want to ask, is what's the potential for your business to go if you raise that, you know, that large amount of money?
So,
yeah, you can answer now.
Okay. Well, in terms of exit strategy, we just mentioned an example in a similar sector. So GrabCAD, which has been acquired by Stratasys, which is a company which is producing and generating 3D printing equipment, machines, and it was acquired for 100 millions. So I think exit strategy by acquisition is one of the most likely option at the moment, that possibly going public in the long terms. But there are a lot of companies which would be interested in the users that we also acquire, because obviously those are B2B, and there are companies which are willing to anyway spend for manufacturing or for this sort of services in the sector.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Anything else, Gaynor?
No, just be interesting to see how it develops.
Perfect. Thank you very much for your feedback, Bulls, and thank you, Marco. Let's see what the crowd thinks. So, Lauren, if you could put up the slide, then that will be great.
Yep. Here we go.
As we go along. So there's your questions. So if everybody could start ticking along, that'd be great. We're getting good at this. And one of the things that we've been really finding is that the peer-to-peer stuff that we've been working on has really brought together some companies, especially through lockdown, especially through the things we've been going through. So we've brought together, and we have a peer-to-peer business group coming out. So if you're interested, we're starting in September. So if you run a business and you want to have a group of people that are kind of like a non-exec director board, Vistage-esque, if you want to call it that, we're doing that. It'll include things like the BullRing. So thank you very much. Let's see what everybody responded here. So 3D viewer online. So yes, we understand what Marco's pitching. Yes, we understand the ask, clear and concise. Like Alan said, it might be a little bit much, but he thinks it's good. And then the last one is investable or not investable. Hey, today's good. So kind of that 50-50 split. You don't want everybody, you want hells and hell no's. So if you got some hell yeses, that's a great thing. So thank you very much, Marco.
Thank you.
Looks like BD has decided to freeze for a moment, which is always a pleasure. It means that somebody has to make sure he is listening properly so you can jump back in and work with it. Hey, there you go. Seamless. You back, BD.
How'd that happen? I think Lauren kicked me out. That's what happened.
No.
Yes, I said Maddie's up next, and then Lauren kicked me out.
Oh, no.
Said, you know what? Michelle's in the States. I don't need other women harassing me. That's not nice. Okay. So, okay, next up we have Maddie. So if you can let Maddie have the controls.
Yeah.
And thank you for stepping in for me, Mike, my better looking older brother. Okay, Maddie from Scrubby. Let me now that we've gone through our technical difficulties, Maddie from Scrubby, your 5 minutes in the BullRing starts now.
Amazing. Hi, everyone. I'm Maddie. I'm the founder of Scrubby. We are a sustainable skincare company that creates value from waste for your skin. There we go. Coffee and wine, two of the most popular beverages in the UK, with over 300 billion litres of these consumed year on year. But what if drinking them is actually only one of their uses? And what if they can unlock the possibility of creating circularity within the cosmetics industry? We send over 500,000 tonnes of coffee to landfill every single year, and 20% of waste from wine is sent to landfill every single year as well. On the other side, you've got the current cosmetic industry, which is completely unsustainable, relying on single-use plastics that cannot be recycled and end up in landfill, and then within the products themselves, relying on excessive use of harmful chemicals and microplastics that end up in our oceans. At Scrubby, we found a solution that utilizes these waste streams, taking beverage supply chain waste and turning it into affordable, effective cosmetics. In practice, what this means is that we've got 6 products out right now: our coffee and our facial and body exfoliators, formulated for a variety of types of skin. They are 100% natural, vegan, waterless, and microplastic free. We partner with 6 cafes all across Birmingham, taking their leftover coffee grounds and giving them a new lease of life. We're proving that even consumables can take center stage in addressing issues of circularity, with saving over 3,200 coffee cups from going to landfill since launching a year ago. The demand for sustainable cosmetics is growing rapidly, with skincare spearheading the way for this movement, resulting from natural beauty trends all across social media and from COVID. Last year alone, sustainable beauty was searched more than 6.7 million times. And when surveyed by Statista, the main barrier to switching to sustainable skincare was actually price point, with average products between 30 and 40 pounds. Instead, at Scrubby, we focus on upcycling, which results in cheaper manufacturing as we don't pay for our byproducts, and instead provide this as a service to cafes taking this leftover disposal, transferring this across to our customers so that we can make sure that our price point is between 12 and 16 pounds, perfect for a savvy Gen Z audience. Since launch, we've received a variety of recognition from bodies, and we've partnered with Greenpeace on their plastics pollution campaign. We've stepped into our role as an educator, attending and spreading awareness of the circular economy at conferences all across the UK. And we've become a member of the renowned Meaningful Business and featured in the Sunday Times. We mainly sell online via our own e-commerce site, focusing our efforts on social media, as well as selling on online marketplaces such as the upcycling market. However, the high street is very much still alive for skincare and beauty. And so we sell in 15 stores across the UK, mainly independent at the moment, but we're looking to utilize this experience to get into larger retail in the future. I began working on the business in 2020 while still at university and suffering with acne for the first time. We were very much a kitchen table business to begin with. The team now is currently small and agile, but with a very strong passion and an array of experience for sustainability, which will enable us to gain traction and to create an engagement and to engage the conversation in the beauty industry. Our next step is the commercialization process, but we are in need of some help on this journey. We're now working on the research and development phase to bring our new product utilizing wine manufacturing byproducts to market. We're keen to move quickly in this space because as of yet, it's untapped in the UK. Our needs now and our ask for you is for a physical space that will be suitable to us to allow us to grow and expand and test our new product range. Currently, what's happening is that we're having to manufacture and fulfill in 2 separate locations in Birmingham, which is having a huge impact on our cost and our time. And most importantly, we want to keep our manufacturing in Birmingham and keep it transparent. So we're looking for a facility that will allow us to grow and expand in this way and be suitable for us as a cosmetics brand. Further along the line, there's no plan for exit. As a company that prioritizes people and planet as well as profit, we hope to keep the company within employer owned, as well as using it as a case study to show how cosmetics and products can be used as solving issues of circularity in waste streams. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you very much. That was great. And 451 Very good. We'll start off with a friend of Scrubby. So we'll start off with Gaynor, who knows who you guys know each other fairly well. So friend of Scrubby, I guess that could be. You get T-shirts made for
I know.
friends of Scrubby. So over to you, Gaynor.
Yeah, thank you. I'm sure it's just because we don't want to put the other guys on the spot to talk about beauty. Hey, yeah, it's always a difficult one. Maddie, I'm a huge fan. You know I am. You are a super duper CEO. I love your circular business model, economy model there. And you know, I totally agree. Natural beauty is on the up. Hence, we have our connections already. Your ask, this is nice, this is different. You know, I like that. I can't personally help you on that, but hoped that, you know, the Birmingham area do actually see it, because this is a big problem, is to scaling that business and looking for you now. That is the challenge, besides the money to buy more and build more products and innovate as well, is that location for you. So hopefully that somebody on here today knows somebody at least can give you that. So, but you know, as I say, funding for you scaling is going to be hard. So stay true to it. You know, you are going to have to work hard at this, but your marketplace is growing, and it's always going to grow and continue to grow. Yeah, it's very under represented from funding. So it's been refreshing to hear you come on here today. Your vision, you know, you're being honest, and I think that's a lot for, you know, investors as well. So okay, there you said there that you know, there's no exit on there, but there is ways to help investors. So you know, don't be frightened to say that, and to offer them something, you know, in the short term, so they get a return on investment as well. But yeah, I love what you're doing. I can't, you know, competition's always a thing as well. You know, I haven't got questions for you because I've already probably told you those before. But competition is fierce, but you are innovative, you know, and that always comes through. And I've seen your products. I love your products. And, you know, you are a great representation of your company and a great pitch. So well done.
Perfect.
Thank you very much, Gail.
No questions there, so I'll hand it over to Alan first.
Thanks. Hi, Maddie. Yeah, I mean, what's great is that, you know, essentially you're doing exactly the right thing for what the world needs today. So to turn waste into valuable products. We've invested in some companies that do that, take waste from the back of a brewery and turn it into flour that you can put into snacks. So I think what you're doing is excellent. The health and beauty market is hugely competitive, as I'm sure you know. So a couple of questions, like, firstly, was it only me, or is it hard to read that logo sometimes? Scrubby, the pink thing, I mean, question. Secondly, is there any way that you can develop some IP or something that's unique about what you're doing? Thirdly, yeah, how scalable is this? If you've got you've got some machine in a building somewhere, if you wanted to double your production tomorrow, do you have to buy some more machines, and how are you going to pay for that? And then, there's a lot of, you know, the big brand, people buy this stuff because it works, I think, primarily. So I don't know whether you've got any evidence that your scrub's better than everybody else's scrub. That would be interesting to know about. And it's claims that you can make for the efficacy of the product. And like, the whole world is obviously using recyclable plastic or other kinds of packaging and so on these days. So my final question is how are you going to keep the cheap price, and why would you want to start with a cheap price? Like, you know, don't undersell it, I guess, would be the thought. Like, if you can sell it for a cent less than your major competition because it's better and people want to buy it, then don't go for cheap. Great. Thank you.
Perfect. So you can address any of those questions you want to, one or a couple or whatever it is. So you got a minute or so.
Yeah, I'll try and do some quickly. Price point to start then. So we're kind of, what we're trying to achieve within the cosmetics regime, we've got very similar profit margins to those products out there that are kind of at the same level of us not claiming to be sustainable, because we use upcycled ingredients. So what we're trying to achieve is to make sustainability accessible so that it becomes the norm. So our kind of overall arching goal is to actually make sustainable products just what you would go to, so that it doesn't have to be something that you're like, oh, maybe I should shop ethical this week. It's just something that's easy and normal. So that's kind of why we stick to that price point. And I kind of created the product as a student and needed products at that time that were affordable and also worked. So that's kind of that question. And then the second one around IP. So we weren't able to IP our first product just because there are products out there that are using coffee scrubs, but they're not using kind of upcycled materials. So that's where our difference was. But for the wine products, that's what we're really looking into now, because the market is so small. There's only companies in France that are using red grape, and we're actually going to be using white pomace grape. So it's something really different. So that's an area that we're working right now with Steamhouse on to kind of work out where the next steps are in claiming the IP on that product there. If you just want to repeat your first question, sorry, I didn't quite get time to write them down.
BD is recording this, so I have no idea what the first question was. But
I don't remember what the first question was either, but that's really good.
It might have been the logo.
Yeah, the logo.
Okay.
Question: can everybody else read the logo really easily? It's the R in the scrubby word, basically. Like if you could crisp it up or something. But question.
No, that's good feedback. I've never had that before, so
okay.
Thank you.
Very good. It's good. Okay. Well, thank you very much, Alan. Okay, and now over to you, Paul.
I don't know why you didn't come to me first. I'm self-evidently somebody who's an expert in skin beauty.
I thought it was just the coffee factor.
Oh, yeah, actually,
So, yeah,
there is that too. That's probably my only question. Actually, coming in third, I'm always bereft of any decent additional questions. But yeah, my key question is: does it mean that I smell of coffee? But no, I mean, I think that you do need to pick up on Gainer's point, really, which is I get the ask, and it is unusual, and you're not asking for money, and that's good. And I also respect your position that there isn't, a planned exit strategy here. But nonetheless, I think you do need to, if you like, sort of give some indication of what the quid pro quo is against the ask. So if you're going to ask for premises, which you are, then, is that with a view to a long-term rental? You're looking for an incubation unit now with a long-term rental opportunity. I'm sure there's some incubation units around Birmingham that could easily accommodate that, but might be worth making clear what the ask is. But overall, I thought the presentation was excellent, clear, and your enthusiasm is for all to see.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Alan, Alan's coming back in. Go ahead, Alan.
I just had a thought.
Go ahead.
I thought, based on what Paul was saying, in terms of the venue, like, to be honest, like if you end up going through retail or trying to sell in stores, it's going to be expensive and the marketing cost will be outrageous. If it was me, I would do everything I could to just do the whole thing online. And I would go to Selfridges in Birmingham and plead for a pop-up place for a couple of months, just so you get lots of influential people to find the brand once off, and they'll go online. There's a company called Smartech who put a lot of tech products into Selfridges, and they just have like 6 stores across Europe. So Selfridges in Birmingham will be a great place for, all the wealthy, influential kind of people go there. They see it. They probably don't buy it, but they go online to buy it. So retail.
That's right. Alan's right. Yeah, Selfridges is a good start. And actually, when it comes to new product adoption and giving you an opportunity to trial something out in the retail space, Marks and Spencer's are good. What you don't want to be doing at this stage is reaching out to the Tesco's of the world and the Boots, because they just are going to be looking for a model you couldn't sustain at this stage.
Perfect.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've been using our independence as a kind of trial period to see what works and what doesn't. Our kind of focus, Selfridges has been on our list for a long time to do that. The kind of space-wise for us, so short term, it would be this sort of facility that will enable us to grow. So we've got all of the machinery, everything that we need. Luckily, we're actually, because we try and make everything that we do, all of our processes as sustainable as possible, we don't use any heating or cooling. So it's actually quite a simple process to make the products. And we specifically choose what type of products we want to create for those that are the most sustainable to create. So our actual ability to what sort of machinery we need and what space we need is a little bit smaller than you would typically assume from a cosmetics brand, but it's still kind of more than what's needed from incubations right now, because we've used incubations for the last year periods.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for the feedback. Now let's see what the audience knows, thinks, or gives the feedback. So that was really good and good interaction from the bulls. So do you understand what Scrubby does? Do you understand what the ask is? Investable or not investable? We've had a lot of requests for us to help out with incubators, accelerators, things like that for using the BullRing as their demo day. We've also had it from some government agencies, WMCA, British Business Bank, Worcester County Council. So if you want to have us come and help you celebrate your entrepreneurs, make sure you get in touch with the team at thebullring.club. So we'd love to come out and help and show off your entrepreneurs. So let's see the results. So there, look at this, 100 there. And then let's see, did we get past the 50-50 today? I have to scroll down. Look at this. Now we've got a 90% decent. So we've gone from 50-50s, and which was good, to that. So fabulous stuff. So Lauren, can we have the next slide, please? So the roundup. So this is it. We'll start off with Mike, just kind of what we saw coming in on the pitches, and we had something this time where Maddie sent in her videos. We gave her video feedback. So could you tell us kind of what you saw today, and maybe one thing that people could think of when they're pitching next time? And then I'll go to Alan, Paul, and Gaynor for their feedback too.
Okay, guys, I think you did really well today, all three of you. You're going to get loads of positive feedback from the people been watching and everybody else. So it's great from that perspective, and everybody on time. And so it didn't come across as rushed. So whilst we might have been 5:05 or 4:55 or whatever else, to me that just shows that you did rehearse it, you did practice it, and you pushed on making this the $1 million, the $1 million pitch, because you never know what you're going to uncover. Two things for me, just for extras for taking away. When you're putting in your passion and your personality across, that's what people buy into. They get to like you, they get to love. So please don't hold back. Let that passion come through. Make sure you're smiling throughout, not in a cheesy politician way, because that's really not what we want. But if you're engaging, just when we put on the grumpy concentration face, it's less engaging than the smiling and the opening eyes and everything else that works there. And then that will help, because then when you start talking about what your exit is and all the other financials and all the other numbers, they are engaged and they think this person is somebody I can work with. With most investments, you're talking about several year-long relationship. It's not something where you suddenly get a checkbook and then it disappears. These are long-term relationships. So people have got to engage. They've got to like you, got to get you. So please don't hold back your personality. Let that shine. Well done, everybody.
Cool. Now over to you, Gaynor. Just some overall generic feedback, a takeaway that everybody can do if they're pitching and our pitchers today.
Yeah, lovely. As I say every time, love the format of what you guys do and the support that you give them, and it comes across in the pitches. Again, really interesting today, different mix to before. So I like that about what you guys do, that you're always looking at it much wider and not all specifically around the tech and stuff like that. So great stuff. Positiveness and access to the network is key, and that's what you give them. What I think that one takeaway for me is I'd like just to see a little bit more around the vision of these guys and where their business is going to go, because we hold back on that sometimes, and it's the bigger picture we've got to be selling early on, because that gets the buy-in. So the short, the medium, and the long term, bring it out in the pitch, because you're as an investor, you're in it as a number of years. You want to see where it's going. So we're looking at you now, and you're coming across really well because you're pitching well, but we want to know where you're going to take the business and where that return's going to be on it. So a bit more around that vision, please. That's what I'd like to see.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Over to you, Alan.
Yeah, so I think all the three presentations, something that everybody had in common was that you guys are clearly enthusiastic and very clear about what it is that you're trying to present. So I definitely understand all three pitches very comprehensively. So thank you for that. If there were two things that I would think about, so less so for Maddie, who's not asking for money, but financial forecasts. So I think it would have been nice to see in each case, like what are your revenue projections for the first 3 months or 6 months or a year, even if you are not quite launched the product yet. It'd be good to see that in relation to the amount of money that you're asking for. And the second thing is, a different thing altogether. When you make a presentation, even if we all think back on the last hour or so, like what do I remember? And the truth is, I've got a pretty terrible memory, obviously, but I'm not going to remember a lot, and neither is the investor or the customer that you're pitching to. So whatever the one soundbite or the takeaway is, so if you want me to remember that you are the Uber of ice cream or something like that, then just repeat it in the presentation. So it's the kind of thing you might say at the beginning, like Scrubby is, Scrubby is to health and beauty what, I don't know,
Tom's is to shoes.
Yeah, what Tom's is to shoes. So something like that at the beginning to set the scene, and then finish with that as well. So you repeat it. People remember things that are repeated. So if you don't repeat the key thing 3 times throughout a 5-minute presentation, people won't remember it. So that's just a thought.
Awesome. Repetition is an amazing thing, and association is an amazing thing. It's great. Perfect. So Paul, over to you. Thank you, Alan.
Yeah, again, usual eclectic mix, excellent mix, like previously noted, really. Lots of enthusiasm, very clear presentations, and that's unusual. So every single one of the presentations got your point across. Agree with Alan on lack of numbers with respect to those that are asking for money. Those that are asking for money are at a kind of proof of concept stage, which is a very difficult stage to raise money for. So I think you do have to pick up on that issue of, to what extent your product is already available, is working, is the minimum viable solution product. And I think all of you need to be a little clearer on route to market. So how are you going to be addressing, what is the specific demand for your customers, and in the case of the retail proposition, exactly how you're going to reach that audience. But overall, extremely good. You did well. You're obviously being snipped a bit by Mike in terms of getting you in on 5, but definitely include those numbers.
Perfect. Thank you very much. And I do think that we got to remember that when we're talking things like this, association, like Alan said, is best. So if you're going to be the Uber of whatever, or if you're going to be that, because then people get it. They get it and they snap and they'll say, oh yeah, we saw this guy that's going to, or this lady that's going to be the Uber of video games, whatever it is. It's just, that's the thing. So it's great for us. It's great to have you here. Everything happens because you guys are in the audience. Could I have the next slide, please? So we're going to take the summer off. I haven't been home in 4 years, so we're going back to Seattle. So I'm not gonna run a bull ring in the summer. So we're going to have September is when we're coming back. But before that, don't get sad, because on the 16th of June we have another one. I'm looking for one more picture. We've got 2 great pictures already in. We're looking for one more picture. And if you know people that are ready for September, put them through the hopper, and you have to go to the bullring.club and they could sign up on there, and then we put them in the hopper for what's happening in the autumn. So we love to show off entrepreneurs. So make sure you're pushing them through there. That leaves me to say thank you to everybody. Thank you to Alan, Paul, Gaynor for making sure that we had great feedback from our bulls. Thanks to Mike and Lauren for making everything happen there. So it's great to have you all, and great to have our pitchers on board. So thank you very much to Mohammed, Maddie, and to Marco. Everybody starts with M. And then if you have to work at 3D Viewer, everybody has to be named Marco. So if you're going to invest in 3D Viewer, you also have to change your name to Marco legally. So it's good. But thank you very much to everybody. It was fabulous. We're not leaving. So if you want to hang around and have a couple questions for the bulls or for the pitchers, we're going to hang around and have a little bit of networking, but you will have the feedback, you will have the bulls and the companies. So if you want to ask questions of anybody, be respectful, no spam. Obviously, I just kind of had to say that, because if I didn't say it, I didn't say it. But in general, make sure that you follow our great companies. Check out the ones that have been through here. We just had one of our companies just raise $500,000 2 sessions ago, and then we just had another one that raised 400,000 last week. So they're going through, and it's from connections from the bull ring. It's from connections from the bull ring community. So thank you very much to everybody, and go out, enjoy yourselves, and we'll see you in June. All the best. So Lauren, you can stop recording now, and then we'll hang out